listening to Peak One Sports.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of the Sports Page on the Peak One Sports Network. I'm Ashton with Chris and Dan sitting there on your screen. What's going on, guys? What's going on, Chris?
Nothing much, man. Just ready for the Thanksgiving week. Just got out of school, so we're on break right now. We're about to start break, starting today. So, just ready to rest and eat. Watch some football. Just kind of kick it and chill.
Yeah, I guess you could say this is our Thanksgiving special. How are you doing over there, Dan?
Same, doing real good. Excited. I got family coming over, so I'm actually the one that does all the cooking on Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Which always makes it a little semi-inconvenient because I love watching the Lions game. I love watching the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
I'm actually originally from right around Detroit and Pontiac, Michigan. So
Okay. Funny.
I've been a
I
I guess technically I was kind of a Lions fan originally, but Cowboys are my team. Those are my guys. It's way harder to be a Lions fan. But
yeah, well,
I love watching the traditional, Thanksgiving games, spending the time with the family. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's always the debate with most families. With Cowboys always playing at 3:25 or whatever. It's do you eat early for like around lunchtime, or do you eat later around dinner time so you can do it before or after the Cowboys game? Are y'all getting that weird feedback? I think it's just me and my headphones.
I think, Chris, you got a speaker coming through on your. I think we're getting a little feedback from your mic.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Is it good?
Yeah, we're good now. So I just hear myself repeating myself, and it always distracts me. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we're definitely going to talk a lot of Cowboys, go over that win against Carolina, preview the Washington game, but we also have a fun deal. Maybe we could say it's our first annual Thanksgiving dinner draft.
First annual.
Yeah, first annual. Hopefully we just keep doing this year after year. And I know, Dan, it was really your idea last week you brought up, but I definitely want to give props to the Bungalow Sports Show because they had the 4th of July food draft as well. If y'all want to, any of our listeners, after you're done watching this, go over and check out that from back in July. Definitely want to give them props so we're not stealing their idea. Dan had that idea. You can go back and watch last week's episode and see that. But Dan, I'll get started with you. What were your thoughts against for the Cowboys against Carolina?
I felt like going into it, it was a lot like last week's game. I wasn't exactly like expecting a super exciting game. I was pretty much expecting the Cowboys to come in and take care of business and, do what's expected of them, get the job done, come home with the W. Game had me a little worried there in that first half. They didn't quite have the lead I probably would have expected or preferred for them to have. I would have expected them to have probably at least 21, 24, something like that. And what it was, 17-3, yeah, at that halftime. So it just wasn't quite the lead I wanted for them, but they really started to kind of put it together a little bit better there in the second half. Carolina definitely, took advantage coming out. I think it was that first drive, right? They managed to get to the end zone, but Cowboys really managed to turn it on. Honestly, the thing I was waiting for kind of that whole game, the Cowboys defense was playing well, but I was just kind of expecting them to like make something happen, get a turnover or something, and then just kind of real quick succession, boom, boom, there in the fourth quarter. We got that pick six and followed that up with the fumble and everything. That obviously made me feel better because by that point we're up by 20, I think.
Yeah, 30.
So, by then the defense had me feeling a whole lot better and everything, but it definitely felt a little later than I would have preferred. But all in all, pretty good showing by the Cowboys. I appreciated also seeing like the kind of a little more well-roundedness out of the offense and the defense and just kind of seeing the progression on both sides of the field. Cowboys a little weak on the running game, but always managed to make those like third down stops, even push them out of the field goal range and everything a couple of times. So all in all, not a bad game. I don't think it was, super exciting game that we would have, enjoyed a whole lot more or anything, but the Cowboys definitely did what they needed to do and brought it home. So happy with that.
Chris, in a game like this that we were talking about last week after the Giants game, and they're piling up these. I mean, you play your schedule, but you're piling up these games against teams you should just take care of. What's something you look for where you can say, okay, that was a successful game outside of obviously winning the game?
Just really how the defense plays, how you respond to adversity. When you have games like that and teams you're supposed to beat, you kind of want to jump on them early. They did so, going up 17-3, but at the same time, they, was able to score, kind of make it a close game, 17-10. So you kind of want to, close the deal. And I feel like that's exactly what they did, getting those two turnovers, the pick six, making it 30-10. That's always always a plus. Just having the defense make stops, get sacks, get interceptions, get turnovers. That's kind of what you look for in games like those, especially whenever you're playing teams that are desperate for a win. Carolina is Carolina, and they've been trying to win all year. So you want to close them out. You want to bounce back from adversity. Don't let them hang around. That's just what you look for whenever you're playing teams like that, and that's exactly what they did. So.
Yeah, I mean, they won 33-10. And without knowing anything about that game, you would say, yeah, they took care of business.
Right.
Like Dan said, it was a pretty clean game. I think it wasn't, there wasn't anything where you were like, man, this needs to be fixed or changed. Their run defense wasn't great, probably the middle of the game, not quite 2 quarters of it, but there were some times and you thought they should tighten it up some. Offense got started off slow. That seems to kind of be a theme this season. And I mean, whether you say your defense is holding them, whether you're not letting them score first, or you're just playing all of these bad teams that really hadn't hurt you because you're still able to put it together before they scored. But I mean, it's kind of like, they didn't play bad, but I want to compare it to the Colts game last year, where they end up winning like 50-20 or 19 or something like that. But it was a really ugly game for the Cowboys all the way up until in the fourth quarter, they just started getting turnover after turnover. And this game was similar in the sense that it was 17-10 late in the fourth quarter, somewhere around there. And you're like, okay, this drive needs to be a good drive. You need to go down there, score a touchdown. Just, like you said, Chris, don't let them hang around. And you did just that. Maybe your best drive of the game. And then you turn around, get a pick six by Deron Bland, then you get a fumble recovery, and really after that, the game's over. But looking at the score, it really wasn't a blowout like that. Although you're going to take the score. I mean, anytime you can win by a couple of touchdowns, I mean, you take it, and now you've done it a few weeks.
Yeah.
A few weeks here. I mean, really this, it's like maybe your 5th blowout this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's the Panthers. They're 1-9 now. You played the Giants. You played the Jets. You had to play your schedule, and they competed against the Eagles, and yeah, you got your asses kicked by the 49ers and a stupid game against the Cardinals. But at this point in the season, you're just putting wins together. You're going to rack them up. Get to the playoffs is your main goal right now. And, tough game for the Cowboys last night with Philly winning, but they have a tough schedule, and you just need them to lose one game, take care of business, and then when the Phillies come to Dallas, you have a chance to take over first place.
Yeah, it was closer than I thought more than I thought, because I think I predicted 28-10 last week, so I guess they covered my spread. But
yeah,
it was just one of those games. It's a good game. You don't want to let them hang around. You want to impose yourself defensively. Don't turn the ball over, and that's exactly what they did.
Dak played well. Not his crazy MVP numbers we're all talking about over the last couple of weeks, but he played well. Obviously, didn't turn it over. Threw a couple of touchdowns. They ran the ball pretty well outside of a couple of stupid wildcat plays that just not only didn't work, it just completely backfired on you. And,
right.
And I don't know why you're trying to run those kind of trick plays. I know maybe practice, but you don't want to obviously give up plays like that, you don't want to put that on highlight reels for other teams to watch when you're in a game like this. So I'm not sure they're thinking there. And then the defense seemed like right there through the middle. They started out great, they ended great, but right there in the middle, they kind of lagged a little bit. I don't know if they got complacent or what it is, but they flipped a switch in the fourth quarter and got a couple of turnovers. Now looking to this week against Washington, which I thought I would worry more about than this game until I saw them lose to the Giants.
6 turnovers.
Yeah, I was just say Sam Howell doesn't worry me so much, but he can sling the ball. But yeah, he's obviously turnover prone. It's still a divisional game. It's still, the Redskins, or excuse me, the Commanders now. Washington on Thanksgiving recently hasn't been great for the Cowboys. If you want to put any stock into that, I don't know what.
Colt McCoy and all that.
A couple of years ago, I remember because we go to Nashville for my mom's for Thanksgiving, and I just remember a few years ago, the last time they played them on Thanksgiving, I believe. I think Dak was hurt, so I mean, what are you going to do? But they lost by like 30 points or something. Is this down to the level of the Giants and the Panthers? Is this a trap game, sort of like Arizona, or do we really need to take this game seriously? What do you think, Dan?
I mean, I think this team's a little more serious than the Giants or the Panthers so far. I mean, they've only got a few more wins than, either of those teams and everything right now. But, by the numbers, Sam Howell's having like a similar season to Dak Prescott. He's actually thrown for 400 more yards and 1 less touchdown. The real key here, though, is the interceptions, like you were saying. He's got 12 to Dak's 6. And going up against the Cowboys defense, it's got a high turnover differential. That's just going to be like, it only plays into the Cowboys' hand even more. I mean, in fact, like we were just kind of talking about this beforehand, but if Howell's going to go ahead and go throw 3 interceptions last week against the Giants, I'd probably put good money on Bland coming down with at least an interception, if not another pick six next week, just given the climate of the game. I mean, big stage, Thanksgiving Day and everything. Cowboys love to win. Home games, we're undefeated right now in this season, and Howell's just got this turnover differential that's just going to eat him alive. So I would honestly expect this to be a pretty defensive game. Obviously going to have to see the Cowboys put their offensive drives together and get in the end zone and score those points, but I expect the Dallas, between the D line and the DBs, I expect us to just be an absolute menace for the Washington football team to deal with on Thursday.
I agree. If you want to erase the narrative that, hey, we're just playing easy teams, which I don't know if this game would erase it, because you go out there, win 40-10, they're going to say, well, who are you playing? But if you go out there and struggle, which is possible against a division rival, it's just going to stick in your head. I have them winning pretty handily too. I mean, I hate picking games like this because you're like, how much are they going to score? Cowboys can obviously score. They have a good defense, but a gunslinger like Howell, which is weird to say, it is kind of a wild card. I mean, you never know. You get a couple. I mean, if Deron Bland licks his chops and goes after a ball and just in Trayvon Diggs style, completely misses, and they go for a touchdown. You never know. But I think they win like 28-17, but really only that close because maybe Washington gets a touchdown in garbage time.
Late.
Or something. Yeah. I think they handle Washington just fine.
Yeah, I do too. I think it that's actually perfect. I was thinking of probably like 10 or 11 points. Washington they're just up and down. They played, relatively well. I've been looking at the scores. I've seen like 3 or 4 games of them this year. They're pretty close games. Obviously that loss last week hurt, but they played Seattle tough. They played the Eagles tough. So, and they always, they're always going to give the Cowboys their best shot. It's always going to be, their best shot. So, I'll just hope they come out and jump on them early, 14-0 or, 10-0 first quarter. that would be like the dream scenario. And then you kind of just build off that, get the turnovers, get Sam Howell, just kind of throwing it all over the place, which they can do because they do a really good job of, creating turnovers and forcing the quarterback to make bad throws. So I was thinking, like 28-17, 28-10-ish. I think they'll win handily.
Yeah. Even though they just lost to the Giants, I'm always wary of teams that lose embarrassingly like that. I mean, it was a close game, but it was against the Giants, and a team that really, whether you believe they're a playoff team or not, they were in the hunt. They were one of like 3 or 4 teams just looking out of the current playoff stands. So who knows what their mindset is? They may think they have nothing to lose. I don't know. That's a weird franchise where under new ownership, maybe they're a little more stable. So we'll see. We'll see, because Sam Howell, I don't think they have plans for him to be a franchise quarterback. So he's obviously going to be, playing for his career to continue after that. But hopefully, this time next week, we're talking about a Cowboys win going into a more competitive game in Seattle here in a couple of weeks.
My best
for sure.
We got a good bet going in. So
yeah, Seattle. Then you is that when you host Philadelphia after that? I think that's when it's coming up.
Yep.
So a lot more intriguing Cowboy talk is eventually coming. I mean, it's hard to do this job when you're playing. I mean, unless the Cowboys are losing these games. Unfortunately, it would be a lot easier to talk about this all day long, but they're doing what they need to do. Not a lot to complain about. So let's jump into what this episode is about, and it is our Thanksgiving dinner draft. I did the random draft order simulator just for 3 people. It was hard to find one that would just do 3. But Chris, you have the honor of picking number 1. I got number 2. Dan, your pick 3. And
we're at the table.
Yeah, we're gonna do. And this is gonna be interesting because both of y'all after the first round will just have back-to-back picks because we're gonna do a snake format. So just so everybody knows, there's gonna be 5 rounds. We're gonna pick a meat. And we can pick turkey, but it's got to be pretty specific. You can't just say, hey, turkey. A meat, 2 sides, a drink, and a dessert. And yes, Dan, it can be alcoholic. Whatever you drink, whether it's some fun drink. We have at my wife's Thanksgiving with her family, they always make this rum punch stuff. I didn't pick that. But if you say, hey, I just drink straight whiskey with dinner or whatever, that
man?
Yeah, that you do.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's like my after dinner thing, but you do you. So as unofficial commissioner of the Sports Page Thanksgiving dinner draft, doesn't really roll off the tongue. The first pick, Chris, what do you have?
Let me preface by saying this was stressful. I spent a solid 20-30 minutes.
I spent way too much time on this, or way too much thought. Like when I got down, it took me probably 20 minutes, but I've been thinking all week. I'm like, man, it should not be this hard.
Yeah, I had a list going, but I'm pretty sure I can do this. So my first pick, I'm gonna choose a meat. I'm gonna choose glazed ham.
Glazed ham.
Close number 1.
That's a underrated.
Very a sleeper.
Yeah, a lot. I assume most people have turkey and ham at Thanksgiving. I mean, all the Thanksgivings we go to, they always do, but I think it gets flown under the radar way too often.
It seems like everybody does like turkey and ham, and it's like you do one for Thanksgiving, you do the other for Christmas.
See, it's weird. Not to get too far off topic. For my wife's family, they do it the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so everybody can go. So we're able to have everybody. There's not other conflicting Thanksgivings. And they do, you do your normal turkey, ham, all that good stuff. And we host Christmas, and we always do something different. So we do like Mexican food or Italian or barbecue or something.
Yeah, that's good.
Just because, I mean, you're kind of tired of that after a few weeks because we'll have 2 Thanksgivings and then 3 weeks later Christmas. So
kind of
4 weeks later, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to pick my meat yet because I feel pretty confident that mine's not going to get picked first. So what did I end up with? I had a few different options here. I'm going to go with a dessert first, just because it has to be my dessert. And I don't know other people's thoughts. So I'm going to go with pumpkin pie as my dessert.
A classic.
Yeah, I need to make sure I get that's my favorite dessert of all time. And I hate that well, I guess you can eat it whenever you want, but the people really only make it Thanksgiving and Christmas. And my mom knows to have a personal pumpkin pie ready for me when we go there on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
That's a good pick. You got to have that on your roster. It's a good vet to have on the team.
For sure. It's like a guaranteed dessert pick right there. Like
it's not everybody's favorite, but
it's got to be number one.
It's nobody's favorite, or very few people's favorite, but nobody's going to question putting that on your roster.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
All right, Dan, your first pick.
All right. I got to agree, man. I feel like I spent way too much time doing this. I felt more confident about it last night when I went to bed. I woke up this morning feeling like I was just going to throw my whole draft plan out the window. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I think I'm just going to stick with my plan, and I'm going to take my first pick here. I'm going turkey leg.
Turkey leg, okay.
There's only 2 of them. I love the dark meat, like contrary to I guess most people's preference or whatever. I like the dark meat.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is too, is like, I only have a turkey leg like at Thanksgiving or like the state fair. I don't really have them very often.
That's a very good point. You don't just have a turkey leg for your random Tuesday dinner.
Right.
It's always special.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get that turkey leg.
You saying that, maybe we should get like funnel cakes as a thing for Thanksgiving. We go minor league baseball games, the fair, that's always a funnel cake.
Right.
Not a bad idea.
All right, Dan, you get another pick. Second round.
And coming back with it, I think I'm gonna go with a pretty good classic side here. I'm going green bean casserole.
Okay.
Man.
Nice. It's always a good one if you get the right person to make it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the right person that makes it. Yeah, because I'm not even like a casserole type of person. So like, but I forgot who. I think one of my aunts made it, and I was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." So yeah, the right person that makes it is a really good pick.
I couldn't even. If you said, "Hey, how do you make a casserole?" I couldn't even tell you. I'm not real big into cooking. I have a couple of dishes that I can make, not for Thanksgiving, but in general, my wife will say, "Hey, you're making this week or whatever." But casserole, like you put a gun to my head, I have no clue how to even make a casserole. I know like there's a lot of breading in it, and then obviously green bean casserole has green beans, and also with my second pick, corn casserole is my pick, and that's obviously has corn in it.
Okay, it's a good pick.
Because I was thinking about corn, like my wife's Thanksgiving this past Saturday, they didn't have corn casserole. They had like this different type of corn. It was kind of spicy and had other stuff. Apparently it's like a northern thing. We have an in-law in the family now that's from Minnesota, so I don't know if that's why they made it, but we had that for that reason. And I thought it was good, but I'm thinking corn casserole would have been a little better, but I'm not complaining.
Okay.
So, Chris, you're next.
2 picks, right?
Yes, 2 picks.
I'm going to go with, looking at my draft board, I'm going to go with mac and cheese.
Okay.
Great pick.
My second pick.
That was going to be mine if I didn't go green bean casserole. That was way top of my list.
Mac and cheese. That's an interesting dish. That and spaghetti are one of it's oddities where depending on who makes it, it's not necessarily better, worse, or anything, but it's completely different. I've never seen so many people make like spaghetti and it tastes completely different than your spaghetti. Mac and cheese is the same way. Just like it's just like 3 ingredients, or really 2, I guess, depending on how you make it. But it can be completely different. Like I really don't prefer mac and cheese a lot unless my mother makes it. And then my wife has been making that same recipe for my children and I'll eat it. But like out of a box or anything like that, I completely hate it. But yeah, mac and cheese is a great pick.
It depends on who. Like my mom makes probably the best mac and cheese. My dad makes a good one too. That's actually my dish I'm supposed to make this year. So
You put
I never
anything in it, sausages or anything, or is it just classic?
just mac and cheese. It's kind of like it's the one where you can kind of cut as opposed to the
yeah, I got you.
yeah,
Like kind of like in a rectangle dish rather than in a pot.
And
Nice.
then so going on with my next pick, I really know I do know where to go, but I'm gonna go rolls.
Oh,
If I can
see, I should have added a bread to that. But yeah, rolls, because that doesn't really, I don't feel that like that's a side. That's more like a bread. It's too late to change the rules now, but yeah, that's a solid. What kind of rolls are you going with?
Yeah, usually the Hawaiian rolls, or just like the regular circular, the kind of like the you can get them at Sam's. You can get them for like in like a pack of like 40, but they're like amazing. Yeah, just a solid dinner roll. I always have on my dish.
I think we always go with the croissants.
The croissant,
so we'll
have. I like those
I
King's
4
Hawaiian
or 5
rolls,
of them.
Yeah, the Hawaiian rolls.
Those King's Hawaiian rolls are real good.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see.
All right.
Okay,
rolls, good pick.
I feel like I need to get this out of the way. Man, which one should I pick? I'm picking based on what I think y'all might pick. So I don't have a lot of backups. Okay, I'm gonna go with another side.
Just make your plate delicious, man.
Mashed potatoes.
I was gonna pick that if it wasn't rolls. That's the great.
And for me, which I've been called weird about this, but I like lumpy mashed potatoes. I thought a lot of people did. I don't know. Not like really, really lumpy, but good consistency to them.
Yeah, I don't want them oozing off the plate. Yeah.
No, they're not grits or anything.
Want a little like together. Yeah, I definitely understand that.
No, I totally get that. I feel like that's even like kind of a southern old school way to do potatoes. Like you don't mash them up until they're all nice and smooth. You just kind of get the worst of it and leave the lumps. Who cares?
Obviously, when you pack your plate, you keep things separated and compartmentalized as much as you can until you're about maybe a third halfway through. Then it doesn't matter. But it's good you can rub the mashed potatoes and they pretty much pick up everything.
Like a glue almost.
Yeah, that's a consistency I like. Let's see. Okay, Dan, for your third pick, you have a meat and you have a side. Already picked.
No, yeah, I got a meat and side picked. So, oh man, it's so tough here. You took the mashed from me. I feel like that was going to be my final side there. But you know what? I feel like I got two really good picks here. And I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to take the deviled eggs.
Oh, man, I didn't even think of those.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good pick.
Oh,
I'm
man.
going to take those deviled eggs.
See, that's more like something, because obviously whoever's is making food most of the day. And I'm one that does not help with Thanksgiving dinner. I will help if I'm asked, but nobody asks me because I'm not a great cook. That's like one of the first things you make. It's almost like an appetizer.
Served almost.
A few will make it on your plate. But you're like, okay, commercial from a football game, run in there, grab a deviled egg or something like that. And but no, that's a solid pick. And I wrote that under your drink. That would not be a good idea for a drink. Let's mark that out. Okay, so I'll go ahead.
I got my second pick here.
Oh yeah, you have a second pick. My bad. Go ahead.
And I think my drink will be safe, so I'm gonna take my dessert. I think I'm gonna go apple cobbler.
Apple cobbler. That's a wild card.
My mom makes an amazing cheesecake, but man, apple cobbler.
Yeah.
For like fall, like the cinnamon apples.
I've had apple cobbler once. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
On the idea of cheesecake, I guess it really wouldn't be Thanksgiving, because when we go to Nashville, we do Thanksgiving and Christmas all in one visit. So I think my mom's gonna make this because my wife sent it to me on Facebook, and I kind of screenshotted it and sent it to her. You know those Christmas tree? I don't know why I'm showing you the shape of it. You know what a Christmas tree, but the Christmas tree snack cakes, like the white ones with There's a
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
recipe for that cheesecake, so I might be trying that for Thanksgiving this year too.
That does sound good.
Off topic though. Okay, so
Mhm.
now it is my pick. I feel safe about. Well, you already picked y'all's meat, so I don't need to pick a meat. I need to pick a drink so Chris doesn't steal it. Well, it's just because you're the next one, and I'll pick before Dan. I'm just gonna go with the classic sweet tea. Not a popular pick, but you could drink a ton of that with all of this, and
that's a good pick.
I know, yeah, like I mentioned the rum punch thing. I know a lot of people have different wines, but sweet tea's there. It'll quench your thirst, and it's not too much to you're really focused on food anyways, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. And honestly, it's a classic. I mean, it's good with any dinner. It goes with all foods.
Hey, my picks aren't going to ruffle any feathers. No one's going to complain about my picks.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Pretty boring picks, but no one's going to complain.
Yeah, very sturdy and very veteran-like. Let me see. I have a dessert and a drink left. I have a couple desserts. My mom makes the best. I'm gonna go with the sweet potato pie.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, those I have about at least a pie every Thanksgiving.
Can somebody tell me the difference between a sweet potato and a pumpkin pie?
Basically, it's a little bit. I think pumpkin pie is a little bit more like spicy, like more nutmeg.
Yeah. That's probably a little true. I couldn't tell you. I've never had them like right next to each other and taste them and compared, but I can tell you, as pumpkin pie being my favorite, there's definitely a difference.
There's a difference, yeah.
It may be how people make it too. I want to say sweet potato pie might be a little sweeter, but I mean,
obviously they're made from sweet potatoes and pumpkins. But they always look so similar, and I was always like, man, are these not the same? Like,
I'm with Chris. I think maybe it's a little more of that pumpkin spice in there.
Yeah,
like by sweet potato, I know you have the sweet potato, then you have vanilla extract. So I'm not sure if they put that in pumpkin pie because I've only
never made a pumpkin pie. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah,
I should know though.
Yeah, I've only eaten it when it's finished. I've never actually seen someone make it. So, but yeah, vanilla extract in the sweet potato pie is amazing.
I feel like sorry, I was gonna say I feel like on the topic of sweet potato pie, I feel like more people. It's a more common thing that people like than pumpkin pie as well. I think pumpkin pie is pretty popular, but I think it's like you either like it or you don't. Sweet potato pie, I think it's like apple pie or chocolate pie or whatever. It's like, I'll eat it regardless.
With some whipped cream, yes.
Oh yeah.
My drink, I could have went a lot of places with this one. I'm gonna just go with the glass of Moscato.
Moscato.
Classy.
Moscato
Very classy.
Wine. My favorite wine. I don't really like the bitter wines too much.
Yeah, you didn't even just say wine. You went really specific on that. I would have accepted wine, but Moscato. Okay.
Yeah, Moscato wine. You can put wine, but yeah.
Well, I could have, with my last pick, the meat, I could have just gone classic light meat turkey, but I'm going to stick with what because I figured that'd be picked. I'm going to go with chicken fried turkey.
Chicken fried turkey.
It's not very common thing, but it's.
Is that like the deep fried turkey?
Yeah, deep fried. It'll just be like chicken fried steak, or chicken fried chicken too. I guess if someone makes it right, but I've only had it once for Thanksgiving, or I guess once. I've never had anything but Thanksgiving, but man, it was really good.
Yeah,
it'll get you in trouble too. I mean, you just eat that normal turkey. It's actually kind of healthy for you, but this not so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dan, before we go over our rosters, go ahead and pick your last. What do you have, a drink left?
Man, I feel like there's like so many good drinks here too, and there's even like a few that are like I feel like help transition from like Thanksgiving to Christmas because I even had like eggnog on my list, apple cider. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick my favorite kind of Thanksgiving drink, what I like to have while I'm dancing around the kitchen and watching the football games and everything. I'm going Shiner Cheer.
Cheer.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm a big fan of that seasonal one. I don't usually like to have it before Thanksgiving, but man, just like Thanksgiving Day, all the
Mm-hmm.
food, it
Yeah.
goes good with the dessert too at the end. Like it's just like a really good seasonal beer. Makes me feel all festive. Like
See,
that,
my
Yeah.
sweet
that's gonna be
tea
that's gonna be my go one.
pick is now boring compared to y'all's drinks. See, I kind of wanted to go with that rum punch stuff, but I don't know what all's in it. So I thought that would be cheating. That I couldn't really tell you it's punch and rum. But yeah, there's our roster. We'll go over here in a second. Make sure y'all comment down below who y'all think is the winner of this draft. So let's, Chris, since you picked last, we'll let you go over your roster first.
Okay, yeah. So I got as for my meat, I got glazed ham. I have mac and cheese, rolls is my sides, sweet potato pie is my dessert, and then I have wine or Moscato wine as my to round off the draft. I feel like that's just a solid plate. That's just my traditional every Thanksgiving plate. It doesn't really look too different every day. I mean, every Thanksgiving. Very sturdy, very, just overall just solid plate, and that's what I was going for. So,
All right, Dan, you go over your roster.
Yeah. So I got the turkey leg. I got that green bean casserole, some deviled eggs. Gonna finish it up with a little apple cobbler and wash it all down with my Shiner cheer. Honestly, sounds like an amazing plate to me. Got the turkey leg in there, ready to just dominate the plate, be all over the place. Nothing can't ever go wrong with green bean casserole. Made sure we got a little veggie on there. May or may not be super healthy, but the veggies are there. Got the deviled eggs. I think everybody can agree, just classic, down the field player. Everybody loves deviled eggs before the game. Everybody loves deviled eggs after the game. Everybody loves deviled eggs during the game. Can't lose. So, and apple cobbler, I just, good Southern boy. I love the apples and the cinnamon, bringing that fall together with the Shiner cheer. Just dominant plate. I think I came out on top. You guys did great, but I think I'm number one.
I mean that's a really good plate right there. I'm gonna announce mine last because I think I might have lost. Maybe get some recency bias with some of the voters.
yeah.
In commenting. I have a very classic plate outside of the wild card chicken fried turkey. But man, it's delicious. Add some corn casserole and mashed potatoes in there. Can never go wrong with that. Wash it down with some sweet tea and then sit down and watch the Cowboys finish off Washington with some pumpkin pie.
That's a good pick.
That's a good classic pick too, though, right there. I mean,
Plates.
I almost feel like we cheated ourselves only picking one dessert because who eats one dessert on Thanksgiving?
I have also cheesecake.
Yeah, I'll have cake balls and probably some peach cobbler and
Peach cobbler.
right. Any ice cream you might throw on top, like
yeah, I'm sure there'll be ice cream too. It's gonna be good, and I know.
But I mean, we had to have missed dishes. I feel like I've even got a few more on my list and everything.
We stuffing, dressing.
Stuffing, great one.
Yeah, stuffing, dressing,
candied yams.
Candy yams, cornbread.
Yeah, I don't even feel like there's anything that I know some people might be picky. I don't feel like there's a Thanksgiving food that I'm like I won't eat. That I don't like. It's more like whatever will fit on my plate is worthy of my first plate, and whatever I get on my second plate.
Whatever doesn't gets on the second.
Yep. Yeah. I know people. I'll even eat cranberries and stuff like that. But it's funny how good this food is. I don't know. Maybe we overhype it because it's just once or twice a year if you eat all this December for Christmas. But it's like we don't really eat this food any other time of the year. I mean, turkey some, but it's not like turkey's not a big meat you think about to eat for dinner, and obviously not corn casserole, green bean casserole, dressing, and
I feel like I eat turkey a lot, but it's never in like whole bird form. Like a
sandwich maybe. Yeah, I'll go get a.
But I'm never cooking a whole turkey for any reason really, other than Thanksgiving.
No, you just make a ton of food that everybody takes for leftovers, and it's like we just do this all because we're thankful, and then we lose half the food because we don't eat it all because we make too much. But yeah,
and those
guys,
leftover sandwiches come down, man. Like
Yeah, no, for sure. That's one of my favorite sandwiches is having turkey.
The leftover turkey sandwich.
Guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Sports Page. Go down. First off, subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, and go comment down below and tell us who won that Thanksgiving dinner draft, and tell us what your picks would be. If you got 5 picks, what are you going to have on there for Thanksgiving? Until next time, guys, I'm Ashton.
All right, I'm Chris.
I'm Dan.
See you guys next time.
See you guys.
Bye. Happy holidays.